Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mary and this is the one-stop shop for all things pet parent education wise on dog grooming. Today we are going to talk, we're taking a break from our coat type series and like some of the other grooming things, and we're going to talk about loyalty. Sounds kind of dumb, but it is something that ends up being pretty important for most dogs that go get groomed, especially pets. So I guess we can just start off with what is loyalty to a dog groomer and what does it look like? The first thing that I at least think of with my pet parents, because I work in a shop or in a salon that is harder to pre-book appointments at. You can still do it, but most of my clients don't pre-book their appointments 6 to 8 weeks out. They just kind of have a reminder on their phone, or they look at their dog and they say, hey, it's time to get you back into the groomer. But most of my pet parents don't pre-book their appointments. But so to me, loyalty to a groomer means you stay with that dog groomer for a long time. And I recently, about 3 months ago now, 4 months ago, man, my daughter is 6 months old now, believe it or not, and I only got 2 months of maternity leave. So about 4 months ago, I came back to work after taking my 2-month maternity leave, and it was kind of interesting to see which dogs stayed loyal to me and which ones didn't, because there were ones I thought that, their pet parents had told me, you're awesome, you're the best, we're gonna stay with you, and then they ended up having to go to my coworker who has lower prices because he has less experience and less certification than I do. And they liked the lower prices, so they went with him, and it was very interesting because some of them were ones that had very specific haircuts, and I knew that my coworker, just because he doesn't have as much experience or training, he could not replicate them to the point that I could every single time. So, and some of those pet parents were a little picky as well, or at least they sounded very picky with me because they would always nitpick me. But anyways, going back to the same groomer over and over again for a extended period of time. Obviously, there are situations where changing a dog groomer is very warranted. And I do think that if you and the groomer, if there's some kind of beef or they give you sass that is out of line, or they treat you disrespectful, because we still are in a professional situation. We do have to be professionals. We are the ones getting paid, and so we do have to hold ourselves to a higher standard. There are lines, though, obviously, where I would not take a pet parent back. Like if I shaved their dog because it was matted and they got super upset and wrote a nasty review, I probably wouldn't take that dog back, because I did what was best for the dog and I discussed it with you ahead of time and you still got upset about it. And that's not my fault. I did what I could to make your dog okay. But if that's something you didn't like, then maybe you go to a different groomer, and maybe there's a groomer that, would try to brush your dog out for hours on end and hurt their skin, but that's your choice. Or if a dog groomer can't give you the style you're looking for, that's another option to go. Or if you find a groomer that, like, later on down the line is more skilled and can get your dog looking to where you would like it to, that's another reason to go. More skill, though, generally does come with an increase in price. That's just something always to be aware of, or at least in general, in the dog grooming industry. Maybe you want a really fancy creative groom on your dog, like for a couple of times, and you go to a different groomer. That is okay. Another reason too, I know that the economy is in the gutter right now. It is okay to swap because your groomer's prices are very high. One thing you can always do, though, is talk to them. They might run, like I run deals almost every month. I have a new deal. So it might be like, hey, wait till next month, and next month is my 20% off all full grooms. And that would be a way you could still get in with your groomer but get a discount. Or sometimes if you're very loyal to a groomer and you've been going to them forever, but you're like, hey, the economy is really bad. Is there a way to like either space our grooms out or to get a little discount for being loyal? Some groomers will work with that. That would be a case that I would work with for dogs that have been coming to me for like the last year and a half, basically. Obviously it's not going to be the case every single time. And for every groomer's financial situation is a little different. This is still a job at the end of the day, even though we love what we do, or at least most of us do. It is still a job and we have to get paid for our services and paid properly. But if you are loyal, and we'll talk about this a little more, some groomers are a little more flexible on things. Other things that show up if you're loyal to a groomer are pre-booking. Most dogs need to get in every 6 to 8 weeks. And you can book those appointments in advance, and that ensures that you have the time you want and the day you want and the groomer you want if you're at a place with multiple groomers. So that is a way to also show your loyalty to your groomers, pre-booking. Another one that is big is referring. If somebody asks, hey, we love your dog out while you're on a walk or at a park or whatever, or if you have a visitor and you say, hey, this is my groomer, I love them so much, they do a great job, you should go. Most groomers will have a referral discount as well, and so you can tell your groomer or the groomer and the person you referred to let them know, and a lot of times they'll give you a discount for that. But that is another way to show loyalty, because you're not only going to them, but you're trying to also help their business grow, which is very, very big. So that's kind of what loyalty to a groomer looks like. Now we're going to talk about why it is important. Like I said, obviously there's reasons to swap, such as personality clashes, or your dog doesn't like them, maybe they're unsafe and you learn that later on down the road. There's so many different reasons, or you want a different hairstyle that they just can't provide. There are a lot of different reasons to swap groomers. But it is important to be loyal with a groomer that you like, for a lot of different reasons. And a lot of them have to do with your dog being as comfortable as possible. Now, most dogs that like groomers deal with are pets. And this is what we talk about mainly on this channel. I am not grooming show dogs. I do not have dogs that get in a perfect stack on my table and stand almost perfectly still while I groom them every single time. Because pets are not trained to be groomed most of the time. And so we do try to make them as comfortable as possible during the groom, but one thing that helps them is if they see a familiar face every time that they go in to get groomed. For example, a lot of times I just take on very difficult dogs to do. I have a lot of dogs that have been known to bite groomers, or, they'll bite for certain areas, and I'm just a person that I know how to deal with it, and so I can do it. A lot of times too, I have great success with those dogs and getting them to calm down. Not always. There are still some dogs that they need more training and more desensitization to be, better on the grooming table. But I do have a good success rate with difficult dogs. And if you do have a dog that does show those signs, or does have a little bit more, I wouldn't say aggressive, but a little bit more of an anxious personality, especially when they are meeting new people or going to a new place, sticking with the same person is going to help them be more comfortable, because it's the same person they're seeing, so they're familiar with them. Another thing I talked about a little bit in my puppy video is your dog then will follow the same grooming routine. Now, most dog places follow the same procedure of, if they get a pre-shave, they get that first, and then maybe they get their nails done, and then bath, blow dry, and prep work, and then the haircut. But a lot of those steps, that are encompassed in, so say the bath, right? We'll go over the bath. I wash the dog's body, and then the legs, and then the tail, and then I rinse my hands off, and I clean their face. That is my pretty set routine that I do for the bath every single time. But say my buddy Max, who works, who's the other groomer currently at our facility, let's say he does the face first, and then he does the legs, and then the body, and then the tail. Then it's a little bit of a different order. Some dogs that throws them, some dogs it doesn't. It may seem like a little thing, but having your dog know what to expect next helps their stress level go down, especially when it is with a different person that they're not, with all the time, and in a different, usually a salon is a stressful environment, even though we do try to keep it as calm as possible. There are loud noises and weird, vibrations and sensations on their body that they are usually not used to. So having something where they kind of know what to expect next and they learn that as they go back to the same groomer, that does help, lower their stress level down a little bit. The other thing, which I kind of talked about this, your groomer will know your dog, your dog's likes and dislikes and all that. For example, I use on all of my dry dogs what's called a happy hoodie. I'll probably put a photo up. I have some of my dogs in it. But essentially it is a stretchy piece of fabric that goes around your dog's ears, and it helps muffle the drying sounds. Because the dryer is very loud and it scares a lot of dogs. My little dog, BB, actually, she's napping right over there. She is terrified of the dryer. It's more so, I feel like, the sensation, but it's a sensation mixed with the noise. But there are some dogs that hate the happy hoodie on their head because it feels restrictive. I make note of that. And then if a dog comes back, in my notes I have, don't use the happy hoodie, I won't use it, and it helps them stay a little calmer. Some dogs do better with a cone for nails. It sounds weird, but some dogs having like something where they can't see what's going on, it helps them stay calmer. And again, I make note of that, and as your dog comes back, it just becomes second nature to use that or not. Also, like, I'll learn if your dog has more sensitive front legs, which most dogs do. But if they are extremely sensitive, I'll know, hey, I might need a hand scissor if they are, freaking out today. And that's just something that I can build into my schedule to expect. There's so many different preferences. Also with nails, we'll go over this. I'm not sure when I'll post the nail video, if it's going to be before or right after this video. But we will go over nails at some point, whether before or right after this video. But nail grinding versus nail trimming. Most dogs prefer nail grinding just because it's not a pinch, it's more of a vibration. But some dogs hate the nail grinding because they don't like that vibrating sensation on their feet. And so trimming is the easier option because it's just really quick. And we can get it done at least decently on there, even if your dog is pulling and not happy. So that's another reason, is your groomer learns what your dog likes and doesn't like, and their personality. Some dogs want to be talked to all cutesy and have pets and, get love while they're being groomed, and others are like, just get it done and get me out of here. You learn that as a groomer. You learn the dogs that you work with. Oh, the other thing is, sorry, I have my notes, my lovely notes that I scribbled, is there's two more things I just want to talk about quickly. Your groomer will learn your preferences and what you like, as you give feedback. And so, like, for instance, one of my grooming dogs, I actually just did yesterday, Rigby, is a giant schnauzer. I can put a photo of him up here. Mom would love to grow the beard out longer, and brushing, she has let me know, is a little bit of an issue. They still want him in a schnauzer like cut. They still want the lovely lines that you can kind of see, even though they're blended. You still want the longer on the bottom, but not too long. So we worked to get a length that works very well for her, so that by the time it's ready, or Rigby is ready for his next groom and groom his brother, it's not so long that it's like unmanageable for her. But with the beard, I know that she wants it longer, but there's still mats in there. And those are happening because food is getting caught in his beard. Very hard to get out with just soap and water. You do have to brush those out, because it will harden and mat very easily. But now that I've done them a couple times, I know that she's let me know she wants a longer beard, so I was able to let her know, hey, just brush the beard once a week. This is the only area I see matting, and then we can work towards that longer beard. And so it's very easy. I learned her preference, and we're able to work towards that. Other dogs too. Some dogs like a tighter muzzle. I have a dog, Chili, I can put up here as well. She likes the teddy bear overall kind of look of the face, but she wants a really short muzzle. And so I know that preference of hers, and that's because she doesn't like water everywhere all over her house, because unfortunately most dogs, because there's fur on their muzzle, they get water all over. We constantly have to mop our floors with our 3 lovely pups. And our third one isn't even home, at least at the time of recording this video. It's just our 2 dogs. So, but still, water everywhere. We get it. Also, some pet parents want a more like fuller looking leg, which does charge, at least for me, an extra scissoring fee. But if that's what you want, I'm more than happy to make that happen. Other pet parents, they don't want to brush and they don't want to deal with matting, and so we take the leg in the same length as the body, and that is totally okay. But your groomer will know your preferences, and you won't, like, if you provide just quick feedback too, or a photo, generally it's a very easy switch and fix for the next time. If you have a good groomer too, they will take notes on the haircut that they gave your dog, so that the next time you can say, they'll probably just ask you, hey, do you want the same haircut as last time? Or are there any changes? And you can just quickly let them know, this is what I liked and didn't like, and they can make those changes on that haircut using their notes from the last groom. That is something that it's very important to me to do. And then it's just an extra easy step for my pet parents. The last thing is, then you know that your dog is safe and well taken care of. I, growing up, had a little Shorkie, Riley. I can put her photo here. May she rest in peace. She died just about a year and a half ago now, actually. My parents had to put her down, but she was our family dog. But I remember when we took her to grooming, it kind of like, well, really anywhere, it kind of freaked me out, because she is a dog that did not like car rides. She would freak out the whole time and pant very heavily, which is normal. And we learned from her, it wasn't her groomer, but it was the dog boarding facility we took her to. They said she puts on a show for you guys, but once she's in the back, she's just fine. She gets relaxed. She goes and plays with the other dogs and plays with the people. It's just, she's a little drama queen for you. And hearing that from them and knowing that, just like, it reassured me. I'm like, okay, she's okay when she's there. She's safe. But anyways, bringing her to grooming was always like very difficult for me, especially when I was able to drive her there and pick her up, because we would drive her and she would be freaking out the whole time, and then we'd pick her up and she wouldn't even say hi. She would run out the door. She's like, get me out of here. And so that was something that was always stressful for me as her owner. But taking her to the same groomer, I knew that they liked her, and they, like, as a groomer, you do grow an attachment and a very strong liking towards your clients, especially the ones that are loyal and keep coming back. And we want your dogs to be safe and as stress-free as possible during the grooming experience. And so that's just another added reassurance, is you know who your groomer is, and you know that your dog is safe and in good hands, because you've developed at least somewhat of a working relationship with your groomer. Now, at my facility, it is harder because most of the communication is through texting, but there's always the option for me to come up and talk to a pet parent at drop-off if I am there. And I always, if they ask for me and I am there, I always make it a high priority to go meet the pet parent if that is something they request. Some pet parents don't really care, and that is fine, but a lot of my pet parents, especially the very loyal ones that keep coming back, they very much like to know who I am and put a face to my name, to the person texting them all day long about their dog. So yeah, that is just another good benefit of why being loyal to the same dog groomer is important. Now we will just really quickly talk about the benefits. Luckily this video will be pretty short compared to some of the other ones. But there are benefits to being loyal to the same dog groomer, besides, you know, the reasons I already listed off of why it's important. The biggest one is, I kind of mentioned this before, some dog groomers, and this is something that I will do if I ever get my own salon, or I'm in a spot where I have a little more, it's easier to pre-book appointments. I did try this at the beginning, but it is impossible at the place I'm at with the system we use to keep track of who is pre-booking and who isn't. But a lot of places will give a discount if you pre-book right then and there when you pick up, or even at drop-off. Then they will give you like a 10% discount or a 5% discount. It will be something, or they'll give you a free add-on. But usually there's some type of discount at a lot of those places for pre-booking. And the reason is you have it on your calendar so you won't forget to come in, which is awesome. And then if you do pre-book and you keep coming back and you like that groomer, you're more likely to keep coming back. And so it is a win-win situation. We give you a little something because you're bringing your dog back to us. Another thing is I am more likely to, my loyal clients, I am more likely if they want a little extra hand scissoring, I am more likely to do that for free or for a very big discount, or add in a free nail grinding if I see their dog's nails really need it and they forgot to add it on, or teeth brushing even sometimes if their teeth are really bad. Those are just some things that I occasionally do for my pet. It's not going to be every single groom, but if I see that your dog needs it and you have been loyal to me, I'm more likely to do that. Another thing is squeezing into our schedule. Say it's Christmas time and you forgot to pre-book your appointment and your groomer is totally full. Sometimes if you call them and you have a very good relationship with them, they can squeeze you in at some point. I know when I came back from maternity leave, it was 2 days, I think it was 2.5 days before Christmas that I was able to work. And there were many occasions where my clients wanted to come back and get their Christmas groom with me, and my schedule was full, but I still squeezed them in, and somehow I did like 10 grooms in a day and still got out on time, but we made it happen. And so that is something more like, and also if a client texts me that is loyal and says, hey, I want to get in today, but it looks like you're full, usually I can work them into my schedule in some form, especially if there's no other time that you could come in the next week. The next thing and benefit is your dog groomer and stylist is more likely to go above and beyond. More likely, like I have Winnie, we'll put him right here, Winnie the Wheaton. His dad is extremely loyal to me. He originally moved in a little while ago. It was like right before my maternity leave, and I told him flat out, hey, I've done Wheatons before and I love the cut. And I would love to try it on your dog if you would like it. I wouldn't suggest going to these groomers though, because I know these ones don't have experience with the cut you're looking for. And he was very grateful for the help and tried me out. And because I'm able to work with him and, do the skirt shorter sometimes, or, do a tunnel belly because Winnie likes to lay down and it gets matted. Those are things that like we're able to go above and beyond on. Also, sometimes I do have to hand scissor the legs, and I take extra time. Usually I try to get a dog on and off my table within an hour. Winnie usually takes 1.5 hours to 2 hours, and I charge a similar price that I would any other dog, which I should be charging more, but because he comes back so frequently, I do feel fine charging that price and going above and beyond because they are very loyal. Yeah. And more likely to put in more work in the face to make it blend a little bit better and look a little bit nicer. Other things, the last thing is that your groomer is more likely to work with you and your dog. There are some difficult dogs I have. Daisy, I'll put her up here. She is a cute little white poodle mix of some sort. She's so cute. But her mom originally came and said, hey, she's been known to bite for feet and nails and the face. And the face is the big one where as a groomer, you're like, okay, we need to proceed with caution because there are sharp objects around very dangerous areas such as the eye and the nose and the mouth and tongue. But I worked with her the first couple times and she did just fine. By the third groom, she was, I guess, used enough to me and the environment. She started struggling a little bit for the face. She's gotten better with it as we have worked more and more with her. but because she had already come a few times before and had, said that she loved my work and loved how I worked with her dog, she would keep coming back. I was more likely and very willing to work with Daisy, and now Daisy is awesome. She still sometimes struggles with certain areas of the face, but I know now how to calm her down, and how to get the job done and get her looking beautiful. And she comes to me very often, and we love her for it. As a groomer, you are extremely grateful for your loyal clients, because we do know you get to choose who you go to, and there are a million of us out there. Well, not a million. There are a lot of dog groomers out there, though. I do live in a very heavily saturated area where there are a ton of more private shops. And yes, they might offer a different experience, and maybe some higher quality. I know with my teddy bear faces, I do trim them differently. We are working on getting them looking a little nicer and fluffier. But it's different, you get different experiences and different looks wherever you go, and that is kind of the beauty of it. But because you have so many different options, when you find someone that you like and you stick with them, it means so much to us as dog groomers. So we do try to pay it back in little ways here and there when we can. So yeah, that's just a little bit on loyalty and why it is important, and some of the benefits to you guys as well. Yeah. And I do understand life happens, and sometimes you clash with the groomer or prices get too high, because prices do have to raise when, when our product goes up, because unfortunately we do have to buy shampoo and conditioner, and all those other things. We have to pay to sharpen our tools, and pay for new tools when we get new skills. And so because of all those reasons, prices do increase and the cost of living goes up. So, but sometimes those are too high and you need to go to a less expensive groomer. That's totally fine. We understand that. But if you can and you are loyal to a groomer, it means the world to us. So yeah, that is today's video. Pretty simple and easy, just showing off some cute dogs and talking about being loyal to your groomer. Until next time, the other video we're doing this month is nails, either if it's before or after. I'm going to be out of town for a good chunk of time, and so we are filming these back to back, and so I don't know which one's going to go up first. We will see. But the other video this month is nails, and then it'll be this video. And then next month we will do probably teeth brushing, and I don't know, we'll do something else. We will see when we get there. But yeah, we'll start kind of hitting those out of the way and knocking things off my list, things I want to talk about. But yeah, until next video, stay safe out there. Tell your dogs I said hello and give them lots of puppy kisses for me. Bye-bye.